Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Camper Report. Today's going to be kind of a mini episode. Won't be longer than 5 minutes. Just a quick blimp in your guys' day to come and watch me talk about Trey Lance and how, yes, a lot of people have written him off, but I think the Cowboys made this move for him to potentially be a future major piece in the Cowboys. Possible not rebuild, but like a bridge, a quarterback, a major piece in the next step for the Cowboys. So let's get into it. The reason why I'm saying a major part of a Cowboys future rebuild is I think the Cowboys, at the end of the day, Dak Prescott is a great quarterback, but I do think that he's okay. But I think when he gets to the playoffs, he's not always going to be great. And so I don't think this move signified to me that the Cowboys are looking elsewhere. They're experimenting elsewhere. They don't exactly like what they see in Dak Prescott. And so what this move signifies to me is the Cowboys want a guy who in 1 or 2 years can take over for Dak Prescott. And in my greatest opinion, I think that Trey Lance, if he gets the chance to learn a new system, fresh start, I think it's going to do him very well. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, the Cowboys could just draft a quarterback. They didn't need to make this aggressive of a move. But at the end of the day, it's a 4th-round pick. And Jerry Jones in the past, a lot of people were like, okay, we have Dak Prescott, we have Cooper Rush. Why do we need a quarterback? But at the end of the day, if you look at Jerry Jones, his history, he's always been like the type of owner that makes these aggressive / intriguing moves. Not everyone, when the Cowboys traded up like 8 spots to draft Micah Parsons, not everyone was saying that was a good move. Actually, quite a few people were saying that wasn't a good move. There were other needs on the team. So my point is Jerry Jones loves to go up and make these weird moves that nobody expects them to make. And that's what they did with Trey Lance. And the reason why I say a future rebuild is the Cowboys, I think, are going to move off of Dak Prescott, like I said before. And their team in a few years is still going to be very good. We know that they have arguably the best defense. I would think the best defense. I would say the best defense. I think they've passed up the Niners. But I think that they have the best defense right now in the NFL. And so they have the best defense. They have quite a few offensive weapons in CeeDee Lamb and and their running back. Oh my gosh, Tony Pollard. They have weapons in those two guys, plus Michael Gallup, pretty good, and then obviously Brandon Cooks. And so their team is already very talented. So if and when Dak Prescott leaves or they trade him or something like that happens, and Trey Lance has learned the system, then they can say, yes, we're going to put an inexperienced quarterback in our system. But like on the Niners, all Trey Lance has to do in the Cowboys system is be okay, because the Cowboys have such a talented team and will for the years to come that Trey Lance won't have to do much in his first few years. So that's the Cowboys' point of view. The Cowboys' point of view is if this move works out, then we could have a franchise quarterback, and Trey Lance doesn't even have to be elite for the first few years. He could just be okay. And since our team is so good, Trey Lance will still succeed and will still keep the players happy, because usually when the players aren't happy, it is because they're not winning. But they're thinking if Trey Lance gets 1 or 2 years under this system, he'll be good enough to win with, and the players won't get all pissed off because we're starting this inexperienced quarterback. And the reason why I say a rebuild is, in a way it is, because you're starting a new quarterback who hasn't started a lot of games in Trey Lance. So that's, in a way, is a rebuild. You're not starting a veteran quarterback to carry the load. You're starting a rookie quarterback who's going to learn and is going to have his bumps and bruises along the way. But what I'm trying to say is the Cowboys won't go through a complete rebuild because they'll still have a ton of talent on their team. They're just going to be starting a new quarterback. And all they're asking that quarterback, in this case, Trey Lance, to do is to play good enough so we can go to the playoffs, we can keep our players happy, and then maybe after year one of you starting, then year two, you'll be a top 10 quarterback and will be a Super Bowl contender again. So I think when Dak Prescott leaves, the Cowboys will take a slight step down, but still a playoff team, and then they'll hopefully shoot up. And if that doesn't work, then yes, they've wasted a year, but they can just move on and they haven't really wasted any draft picks. So I hope that all made sense to you guys. One quick thing that I did want to kind of quickly point out here, and this I know who you guys probably can't see this picture, but Silas Toenis, I've actually have had the pleasure of meeting one of my fans. He said basically his quote was, "Trey is just horrible though. Don't blame the Niners." And I responded with, "I'm going to blame the Niners because they drafted him. They drafted and developed him and didn't give him the right opportunity." So that statement is of Trey Lance is horrible. Don't blame the Niners. What type of statement is that? Because the Niners drafted him. We have to blame the Niners. That's a stupid statement. Just saying. So, everyone, this has been a great kind of mini segment, but I just wanted to come on in here and say Cowboys aren't rebuilding, won't rebuild in a few years, but they will switch over to a new quarterback, and they're eventually, what I'm trying to say is the Cowboys are eventually going to experiment on Trey Lance and experiment to see if they can go with a young and experienced guy. So in the future for Cowboys fans, you might see some experimentation by the Cowboys of starting a new quarterback who doesn't have a lot of experience. And still, while starting that new quarterback, still trying to make the playoffs. Because usually when you start a new quarterback with a lot of inexperience, you don't expect to make the playoffs. I think that's quite the opposite with the Cowboys. They're going to expect to make the playoffs. They just need Trey Lance, an inexperienced quarterback, to play just well enough in year one so they can still make the playoffs. And in year two, hopefully in year two of Trey Lance starting, hopefully be a Super Bowl contender. So have a good rest of your night, everyone. Recording this on Tuesday night. See you guys later.